Hospitality on the Beach versus Boomtown. I got asked recently which I'd pick if I could only do one. While there's no denying both events are absolutely incredible, they are very different to one another for their own unique reasons. So after doing both this year, this is why I pick Hospitality on the Beach. Main pull for me firstly is the music. I love every style of D&B and I find that Hospi delivers that in a way that nothing else really does. Obviously I'm aware that Boomtown is a multi-genre festival, but I do feel like they're moving further and further away from drum and bass generally as time goes by. Prime slots are being filled by more commercial leaning headliners and there just seems to be less underground D&B being showcased in a way there that it once was. And while it's brilliant at providing the weird, wonderful and absolutely everything else in between, in terms of drums specifically, it can feel a little bit watered down in places these days, possibly in an attempt to please a more commercial audience. Whereas with Hospitality on the Beach, the primary focus is 100% drum and bass, and if you're a complete enthusiast that loves everything the genre has to offer, you're not going to find a better event with a more well-catered lineup than this one. They've just released 2026s and they have literally covered everything. You've got Calibre Shelf Life Sessions, Sofa Sound, Critical, Polo and Bryson Invites, Footnotes, D&B Classics, obviously a Hospitality stage, and literally so much. Every corner of the genre fully gets its moment and each DJ gets to present their sound in a way that's celebrated rather than altered to fit a certain crowd. So whatever you're into, you're going to get to hear it in its most rawest and unfiltered form, which musically makes it a lot more satisfying. I also loved not having to trek around trying to find something that I wanted to hear. In that way, it's definitely a lot more guaranteed and consistent, plus you ain't got to do all. Another reason I preferred Hospitality this year is because of the atmosphere. It has this really lovely, relaxed vibe with a nice, friendly crowd who are there due to their love of drum and bass first and foremost. The site's a lot smaller, so you end up seeing the same people throughout the week, which gives it a nice community feel rather than this huge swarm of costumes and characters. Boomtown crowd is typically great, but it's very varied, especially with the mix of genres, ages, personalities, and I think that can sometimes make it harder to connect with genuinely like-minded people. So very big and very chaotic, which gets a bit overwhelming for me personally and stops me being able to really look in and enjoy myself, especially with all the moving around between stages amongst loads of people. Hospitality is a lot of fun, but it's definitely more chilled and less overstimulating, which made it a lot easier just to completely let go and immerse myself within it all, which is something I'd usually find quite difficult. Obviously, the scenery and the weather is absolutely stunning, but overall the whole thing just feels slower, more intentional, less overwhelming. If you do fancy dipping off site and switching off for a bit, you're on holiday in one of the most beautiful locations rather than back in a loud, overstimulating campsite. And if you want to absolutely full send it, you've got everything you could possibly want at the festival, plus even more with the boat parties, afters, beach parties. So while overall it does feel a bit more relaxed, you can still go just as hard if you wanted to. Another major thing for me at Hospitality is the sound. In recent years, Boomtown have faced quite a lot of restrictions, and I do understand the need behind it, but it is definitely a bit frustrating. At Hospi, the sound was absolutely fucking perfect. I think someone on here said previously it was a Function 1, but when I tell you, it's absolutely immaculate and genuinely one of the best and well-engineered systems I've ever had the pleasure of hearing. Now, one last thing I do just want to clarify, I am not suggesting anybody to not go to Boomtown. In fact, absolutely do go to Boomtown. It is something I would recommend to anybody, and you will have the time of your life, there is no denying that. But if your main pull towards Boomtown is for the drum and bass, and you've done a few years of it now and you're getting a bit frustrated with the changes, Hospitality on the Beach is something I would definitely recommend trying as an alternative. Boomtown wins artistically and in terms of scale, lights, production, etc. But if you want to experience a full-on drum and bass paradise in one of the most beautiful and unique settings you'll ever have the pleasure of dancing in, Hospitality on the Beach